Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel, Anna Bella, and today I'm finally doing the Wonder Woman 1984 review. This is going to be epic! Okay, the dust has settled. I've finally seen Wonder Woman 1984, loving the 1980s nostalgia, the whole thing, really good. One point, it confirmed how good Steve Trevor as a character is, and his beliefs and honourability, and the fact that he turned down Max Lord's offer of being a real boy, the fact that he said to Diana, you don't have to say goodbye to me, I'm already gone. So yeah, good strong stuff from Steve Trevor there, absolutely wonderful. Wonder Woman will get to her, but I want to actually talk about Max Lord, who is a Justice League character actually, and Wonder Woman in the comics has killed him in cold blood before. But traditionally Wonder Woman has all been about understanding the truth, helping people reconcile their complicated personalities and their flaws and owning them, and thus getting redeemed, which is what Max Lord did. Max Lord usually has a son in the comics. There's like Max Lord the first, Max Lord the second, Max Lord the third, and they all have the power of persuasion. Only this time it was firmly rooted in Wonder Woman's Roman/Greek mythology, which is absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed the film. I know that a lot of people found it controversial, that they didn't like it, but actually it summed up the 1980s very well. The 1980s was a decade of greed, of want. You can always get more, go bigger. You know, we started having, like in the Big Macs, it was now you could get a Big Mac with a giant Coke, giant fries, rather than a regular meal. Would you like to go large with that? And it was literally on everything. American Psycho is also the same principle. Suddenly mass consumerism happened on a level that we've never seen it before, and they showed that absolutely brilliantly, particularly in the stock market. Wolf on Wall Street, also a good film. A lot of these films are R-rated or rated 18, but that sums up the 1980s attitude very, very well, and I felt that Max Lord was really good at showing this. Brilliant villain for that. Barbara Minerva, isn't she wonderful? Really enjoyed her, and actually she's another one of these frenemies. We have Batman and the Joker who are frenemies. Thank you Zack Snyder's Justice League for bringing that out, and also the Dark Knight trilogy, You Complete Me speech from Heath Ledger's Joker. Going on there, Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton, on and on, yes, and also in the comics. We've got this frenemies element, Smallville with Lex Luthor and Clark Kent. There is, with the big bad and the big good, you do get this frenemies thing. I mean, Harry Potter, Lord Voldemort almost have it, but don't quite. So it is interesting, the fact that Cheetah and Wonder Woman did start really on the right foot, and in fact all the way through the movie Barbara was helping Steve and Wonder Woman. Yes, she was doing the research on the monkey's paw. So I found that absolutely, I really enjoyed it. Love the fashion, by the way. Yes, there was a commentary on how women were harassed, and it's interesting how you had Diana, who dealt with male harassment with dignity and grace, and she would just sort of divert, move away, and then you had how Barbara obviously dealt with it. This is a sensitive subject, particularly in England, because at the beginning of March we did have an unfortunate woman in her early 30s get murdered by a policeman on her way home, and even the Duchess of Cambridge came to lay flowers because she herself has experienced, she remembers walking home in London and how bad it was. And yes, I remember when I used to live there, walking around, and I wouldn't walk out sort of after 11:30 very often, purely because of that, which is ridiculous because we're a free country. Why should one gender feel that they can't walk around in the middle of the night if they want to, or they've seen a performance and they need to get to the tube? Crazy, absolutely crazy. Anyway, back to the movie. We've talked about Steve Trevor, we've talked about Max Lord, and also wasn't Alistair Lord absolute darling? Loved it, really loved it. Showed how patriarchy is both positive and both negative towards men. Love the fact that it did the 1980s wish thing really well. So it did the 1980s wish thing really, really well. Diana herself. Now Diana, in the comics, she was created to battle in World War II. Now obviously in the films they changed that because it would be very Captain America Marvel. So they changed her to World War I, which I think adds greater poignancy because there's a lot of women who couldn't get married after World War I because all the young men had died. And I think that what they've done with Diana Prince is epitomise that, because a lot of them remain single for the rest of their life because their fiancé never came back, so they never married, and it affected their whole lives. And this movie was all about Diana getting over Steve, oh for goodness sake, I forgot, Steve Trevor, that's right, yep. And I think that that's really important. We also saw in a photograph the original auburn-haired Etta Candy. It was interesting that they had a nod to the African American Etta Candy in modern times. It was nice to see that Barbara and Diana actually had a friendship. I thought that was absolutely excellent. Portrayed. I really enjoyed that aspect. I like the fact that we saw Diana Prince as a person rather than her Wonder Woman alter ego, and it was interesting that she lost that coffee cup by trying to make things invisible because Zeus made the whole island, Hippolyta's island, completely invisible, so it is one of her powers. I love the fact that she lost the coffee cup because she made it invisible, and then she created the invisible jet, which is absolutely awesome, and then she mastered her flight, which is great because it's almost like Diana coming into her secondary powers and actually being able to use them. The first one was very much her origin story, but it also scarred her deeply. This one is how she's assimilating into the modern world, and I say as a person she's actually assimilated better than Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent because she knows when to be Wonder Woman and when to not, and she turns it on and off very well. But then again, that's a woman thing. And there was actually a lot of female gaze in this movie, and I don't mean that oogling at men, I mean women's interest throughout. It was very interesting that Diana's gaze was always at the women, always at the children, she was always saving them, and that's a trait that is in the comics, so it does have a slightly different feel, and you did feel that throughout. I really liked the message at the beginning that nothing good comes from lies, and that's very true, and actually losing, and losing well, is a really important skill. Cough, cough, a certain former president of the United States needed to learn that lesson. Just because you enter a competition, it's a competition. Somebody is going to win and somebody is going to lose. There is a second, there is a third, there's a fourth, but there's only one first, and it's a skill to lose well, I think, and to lose with grace and dignity and to keep it together. But yes, they were right. Diana did cheat because she didn't fire an arrow at one of the markers so it didn't go up, and she had to use the short path because she fell off her horse because she hit a branch. Happens to the best of riders, I'm sure. So there is that, and I felt that they actually showed Diana Prince the person rather than Wonder Woman the figure, and this is the thing, you see, you don't get the clear distinction between Batman, Bruce Wayne, Superman, Clark Kent. With Wonder Woman it's very much, it's always Diana Prince, even when she's in Wonder Woman mode with, you know, her outfit on and her hands on the hips. It is always Diana because nobody calls her Wonder Woman as like, Wonder Woman over here. It's not used as a name, it's always Diana, and I find that very interesting. Anyway, out of 5 I would give it a 4.5. Actually, I enjoyed it. I found the ending really quite good and moving, and it does show humanity's fears really well as their dreams, because not all dreams come true. It's not to say that we shouldn't dream, we shouldn't wish, but a very wise wizard called Albus Dumbledore said it is not wise to live, to keep wanting to dream all the time and forgetting to live. And I find that quote really quite powerful, the fact that it isn't wise to dream all the time. You can get lost in your dreams and you can miss life that's happening in front of you, and I think that that's quite an important message, as well as, you know, you cheat, you don't win. cheaters don't prosper, and nothing good is born of lies. And they're actually 3 very important lessons. I enjoyed it. I found it quite wonderful. It was an enjoyable film, and it was great to see Diana's ability to fly, because it is a different ability to fly than Superman. Love the fact that we actually saw her use her invisibility powers and some of her other powers, and it was interesting that just because she didn't have a physical strength, she always had her strength of character, which is really important, because I think that people overlook that as a trait, and I think that's really quite important, particularly with self-respect and dignity. And I think that that's where Diana's real strengths are. Anyway, I've talked enough. Like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the Wonder Woman film in the comments below. Bye!